Ready?はい。お願いします。はい。Head up and down. はい。Side to side. Your shoulders. Circles one way. And the other way. The arms. And back. Hey, front. Sides. Hey. Sides are lucky. And tight. We go hook. And G. Yoko. Ki. Ko. Ki. Ko. And ki. Ko. So let's do this exercise again. During the week, we did a technique that require an arm control followed by an elbow extension for disarming the tanto. And one thing that became apparent is that sometimes, in the effort of usually raising your arm, you need to be conscious about several parts of your body that sometimes get glue in the action. Sometimes when a person raises their elbow, their shoulder also raises and the hip also raises. So that produces an imbalance of the person's structure and body, right? So obviously, in this case, if we do this exercise with both sides, that shouldn't really happen. But normally when it happens on one side, that's why we need to be careful of how much we raise our elbow. That doesn't mean that the elbows have to be always perfectly tucked. That's kind of artificially taking a position. It just means, for example, when we raise our hand above our head, one thing is to have the hand and completely flare the elbow. And something else would be to completely avoid doing that by artificially making a weird kind of lower shape. No, the hand raises, the elbow is down, it's slightly open because it's the anatomy of the arm, but careful to not create an increase on the elbow raising, because that's going to affect the shoulder and that's going to affect the hip. So when we do this exercise, for example, when you're breathing, just very slowly here, you're going to raise your arms, lower your hips, okay? Because that's another thing that happens. We raise our hands and we raise our hips. It's very common in Iliminage, Ripo. We raise everything. Hands go, arms go up because that's how the technique has to go. But then that uproots us. So that takes our hip off the ground. So in this case, hands up, up, root. Lower your hips. Both shoulders down and then everything down, making sure that your shoulders don't go up more than necessary. Okay, so going down, okay, arms up, lowering your hip, shoulders down, and open your arms. Okay, let's do it a few times. Okay, hands up, lower your hips, shoulders down, open your arms. Okay, one more time. Up, shoulders, hips down, shoulders down, open your arms and down. Okay. So anyway, so you just explore, just study on your own. Something that is all of us do in a way. Whenever there are techniques that require, your arm, to move in a particular way, how much do you naturally tend to raise your elbow? So usually it's not a good idea because it creates a really big openings, so try to keep your elbow reasonably low. Like the most common thing would be Ikkyo, for example. Very beginner people just raise their arm and automatically catch the hand here, for example. That's an overly raising of the elbow. As we train, we know that the arm stays down, the elbow stays down, and is less exposed, the elbow position. But anyway, we all do it. So just check how much are you raising your elbow in order to be aware of the space that you are creating, but also more importantly, how much that raising of the elbow is impacting your shoulder and is impacting your hip, because that will have an impact on your structure and stability. So just something for us to study. Okay, so hands up, forward, and down. Hey, knees, circle. Hey, the other side. Hey, front, back. Open your toes. And your hips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Extending your leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go over your hips. Hey, that's inside. That's outside. Inside. Outside. Inside. Hey, turning one side. Oh. Turning the other side. Hips up. Hips down. Chest out. Hips up. Hips down. And chest out. Hips up. Hips down. Chest out. Hips up. And rolling. Shoulders. That's again another exercise. Shoulders up, shoulders down, and then rotate your hips. Okay. Another case where we remind our shoulders to move in a particular way, but then go down after the exercise. Okay. So. Hey, right side. Hey, one side. And the other side. Hips up. Side. Hands in front. The other side. One more time, hands in front. Hey, knee down. Sitting. Eso. The other side, hand in front. Knee down. Sit. So, open the legs. Elbows down. So, going forward. And pushing back. Going forward again. Hips up. Hips down. Hips up. Down. Hips up. Down. And back. Turn one side. And the other side. One side. And the other side. One side. One side. And side to side. Oh. Ki. Ko. Ki. Ko. San. Ki. Ko. Three. Eight. If you look at me. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Off your knees. But I remember with Aikikai, with Aikido, we've been practicing something that it's very subtle, in terms of your receiving, but maybe it makes a little bit of a difference when we are sitting down, okay, because we are so low in our position and we use our hands. When we tap, normally it happens both at the same time. Here, for example, it's very, we go 1 and 2 and so on because we are so low. But both hands touching the mat at the same time means that your shoulders are coming down square, right? And also that means that your hip is somehow square. Yeah? So that kind of makes sense. If your shoulders are square, your hip is coming back square, then your hands go down square. So, but in the moment that there is any angle in the body, usually one side kind of comes down a little bit earlier. So if you are on your knees, for example, if this hip's already a little bit down, means this shoulder is slightly on an angle, right? You can put it completely straight, and we're going to talk about that later on. You could be completely straight in your hips, which will completely straighten your shoulders. But if you are receiving and you are tucking this leg, most likely that leg is already winning, not only because of the going backwards, but because of the going down. So that opens your hip a little bit, which means your shoulder opens a little bit, which means this hand is going to find the mat first. So what I've been doing, I know some people may have noticed in the class, is that when I'm already on my knees, I don't necessarily touch both hands at the same time. I don't artificially equalize this hand. I allow this hand to touch first, and then the other one touch slightly later. The reason why I say this is because, especially when you practice really hard in very confined spaces, which was my experience again with Moreno Shihan in Hombu Dojo this year, it's still a Mushiro Ukemi, but definitely one side goes down so quickly that I will not try to break with both hands at the same time. I will allow one hand to break on one side first in order to receive the impact. So you're on your knees, one side is slightly open, one shoulder is slightly open. Maybe that hand is going to touch down first and this one second, just slightly later. So if you do both, means that you're equalizing the landing of your shoulders, okay? So let's see how it feels, just see what you can study on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This time we're going to go the same thing, but we're going to adopt this position. We're going to have our hands and brace core muscles, hold position, and then come down and take Ushiruki. Okay, so explosive knee up, engaging your core muscles to help you to keep balance as well. Okay, 1, position, up, down, 2, position, 3, up, down, position, up, hold, down, 5, position, down, 6, position, 7, position, 8, position, 9, position, 10. So this idea of one shoulder, shoulder, it becomes really apparent in certain things like Yoko Ukemi, which we'll do in a minute, but also in this Ushiro Otoshi, when you come down and one side goes down first, and then the other side moves on the other direction. If you try to do that Ushiro Otoshi with both hands reaching at the same time, it's going to feel like a really big slap. Your one shoulder should go down first, okay? And then the second one comes after that. That feels better, the way the body lands. That means one side is opening first, which means one hand is reaching down first. Okay? Yoko Ukemi is very obvious because this hip is finding the mat first, and then the second mat goes into Yoko Ukemi. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same full Ukemi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, round. Okay, so hands back, hands forward, keeps forward, keeps up, and sun salutations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flat. Hey, sit down. Dead bugs. Okay, open your legs, open your arms, engage your core muscles, and opposite hand, opposite leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same side, same leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Both hands, both legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Grab your legs and release yourself. Hold and twists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Standing up. Squats. Okay. I'm going to do deep squats. Remember, you can practice the deep squat the way that I'm doing it, or just have a squat on the way up, or have a squat from the bottom, or all the full squat all the way down and all the way up. Okay, so depending how you feel. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. And all right, second round. I'm going to do the same thing. Sun salutations. core exercises, and then squats. For the squat will be plyometric with an explosive little jump at the end. Okay, so back stretch. Coming forward. Hey, hips up. And salutations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back. Hey. And you're back. Engage core muscles. Raise legs. Raise hands. Opposite sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Grab your legs and up and sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Standing up and squats with plyometric jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. All right. So, good. All right. So we'll do a few of the techniques we did this week with the Tanto. We'll play a little bit with the Tanto and its interaction with the Boken. But maybe let us review this one that we did a few iterations of, which was a technique where your partner comes, attacks with an oiski, with the Tanto, and basically you move on the outside, turn, okay, and you do your sototenkan. Now, what happens with that turn, okay, from here, sototenkan, and then you grab the hand, wrap the arm, produce a hyperextension, and then from there we practice Rippo or Kokyunagi going forward. But the point was, when we do our turn, okay, try to remember that a turn doesn't necessarily mean that your entire direction of your body changes, okay? So if anything else, Moreno Sensei's hanmi, as you know, is quite square, okay? The leg is back, yes, but the hips are forward. So the hips are pretty much square, which means the shoulders are square, okay? It's true that some people's hanmi opens the hip a little bit, therefore now the hips are not square anymore. They're slightly diagonal, which makes the shoulders slightly diagonal, okay? But Sensei's hanmi is quite square towards a person. So in this exercise, it's important to know that we are doing here just your basic sototenkan. From here to here, you end up with your hips more or less square. Well, what's happening a lot with a lot of us was that when we were doing our turn, we will end up with the hips completely open the other side, and then this fell really far to reach. Not only that, the hips were already open. We reached with the other hand, the shoulder went up, the shoulder went up, the hip went up, and then this kind of weird kind of struggles look during the class where the hip was super open, the shoulder was super up, and then the position was all weird to try to kind of control your partner. So just basic habits, okay? Do Soto Tenkan, ensure your hips are square, your shoulders are square, your shoulders are down. That should be really basic in terms of how we practice Soto Tenkan, but I don't think we can do it enough. Okay, Soto Tenkan, Mawaru, hips square, shoulders down. Okay, Soto Tenkan, Mawaru, hips square, shoulders down. Turn, hips square, shoulders down. Turn, hips square, shoulders down. Turn, hips square, shoulders down. Change the other side. So, turn, square, and down. Turn, square, down. Turn, square, down. Turn, square, down. Okay? So now here comes the next thing. When you're on a hanmi, okay, and this arm goes up and this arm wraps around, the exercise was you wrap around on top of your partner's arm, you were grabbing with the other hand, and then here's what I say, don't necessarily go for your wrist, because if your arms are longer than your partner's, that will feel okay, that will feel that you can control your partner, but if your arms are shorter than your partner's, you will lose the elbow of your partner, which is the part that you're trying to control in the exercise. So what Sensei does, he doesn't bother going to the wrist, he just goes, wraps around, and grabs something, his own keikogi, for example. And as long as everything is tight here, the elbow of your partner is in front of you, therefore you can produce the hyperextension. So the important thing here was, when in this position, my hips are square, my shoulders are square, I can raise my arm, I can wrap it around my partner, and I can come down and grab myself. And this exercise is not going to make me go with my shoulder up. I'm going to keep it down. Now, I know in solo it's easier because we don't have the obstacle, the physical obstacle of my partner. It appears that as soon as we feel a physical obstacle, we don't drop our shoulder to control the obstacle. We just let our arms sit on the obstacle, and then we wrap around here. So if I didn't drop my shoulder and I just respected the obstacle, means that my shoulder never came down, as opposed to me dropping my shoulder, making the obstacle go down with me, and then grab my hand. So that's why in solo practice it's not as obvious, but in pair practice it was very obvious that when people were going over the arm, somehow they were not remembering to drop the shoulders, simply were putting the arm on top, turning around, which meant the shoulder went completely up. Okay? So just practice that as a habit. So Soto Tenkan, square hips, square shoulders, arm up, arm around, drop your shoulder, and grab. Okay? Maybe my mistake was that people were grabbing maybe too high. Maybe if you go and grab lower, that will drive your arm lower. Okay? So Soto Tenkan, square hips, square shoulders, arm up, wrap around, shoulders down, and grab. Soto Tenkan, square hips, square shoulders, arm up, goes around, wraps, shoulders down, and grab. Change foot. Turning, square hips, arm up, wrap around, shoulder down, and grab. Turn, square hips, up, wrap around, shoulder down, and grab. And grab. Turn, up, wrap around, shoulder down, and grab. Last one. Turn, square, up, wrapping, shoulder down, and grab. Yeah? So anyway, so the point was, to always remember to have that. I was watching a TED Talk the other day on this woman, which is an expert on body language communication. And I'm pretty sure that I heard that concept before, but she was really insistent about, she said her favorite kind of, there's always all of these kind of things about your body language, position of your hands and the tilting of your head, and the position of your legs, and there's a whole bunch of things in there. It's quite interesting. But one thing that she says the most important thing for her was the distance between the ear and the shoulder. She said how that distance between the ear and the shoulder reveals many things about a person's communication and a person's manner, etc., etc. And I think that what she was saying is when we are, even as a gesture, sometimes as a little gesture, when we want to be polite and not sure and not invasive, we just go, yeah, it's a natural kind of, I raise my shoulders towards my ear, I make myself little, and then that's almost like an apologetic, way of saying something like, I'm sorry, kind of thing. Making yourself little, raising your shoulders towards your ears. It's like, think like that. So it's very important. She was talking about the body language element of always remember to keep your shoulders with a good distance, not an exaggerate. You cannot drop your shoulders more than what they naturally should be. I guess that's a good thing. You can move certain parts of your body beyond of the natural line. For example, the elbow. This is the natural position of my elbow. I can artificially make it smaller, but my shoulders can really artificially make them lower than this, okay? I can make them higher, but not lower. So anyway, so what you were saying about the distance between the ear and the shoulder. So it's almost like the same thing in training. Here, when we respected when we didn't drop our shoulder and grab, this distance became really little. And then is the somatical emotional message of a struggle. It's like that's what it would look like. Like it was the somatic emotional message of we're struggling, So and it looked in the technique like a struggle, as opposed to if everything drops, shoulder drops the position, boom, and then the technique has integrity in order to move forward. So anyway, keep an ear on the distance between your shoulder and your ear. That's a really bad dad joke. All right, so just to finish up, we're going to do a couple of exercises that we did with the Tanto. If you grab your Tanto, we did a Tanto versus Bokken exercise. So we're just going to do a couple just to finish this morning. The important thing was to remember that most of our techniques have this characteristic where we move off the line in order to enter, but then we try to recover the line. Okay, so many techniques have that. When we don't move off the line of things, we confront them head on and straight in, But when we don't recover the line, we kind of just go parallel or separating from the place that we should be engaging and controlling, which is the center line of my partner. So in this case, with your Tanto, you're going to go off the line and then back into the line. My partner was caught with a Shomenuchi. I avoided the Shomenuchi, and then I attacked back with my own Shomenuchi. So both sides, please. Off the line, avoiding the Shomenuchi, and cutting back with my own Shomenuchi. So avoiding 1, 2. Side, Shomenuchi, 1, 2. Side, Shomen, 1, 2. Side, Shomen, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Always remember to finish inside. 1, 2. Careful with your head, not dropping too early. 1, 2. Your head should be looking to the front, not down. Okay? So 1, 2. 1, 2. So 1, 2. 1, 2. So 1, 2. 1, 2. Right? And we were talking how, if a person has a Bokken, sometimes if the person is empty-handed, and we are empty-handed, Shomenuchi, for example, Irimi, you enter, you protect yourself with your own hands, and then you perform any technique. But if a person has a Bokken, the gesture of you raising your own hand loses meaning because of the danger involved in that. So if a person has a Bokken, it's better just to open your hip, your spine completely to let it pass. Normally, you don't do that in hand-to-hand because there's always the risk of getting hit. But Bokken versus empty-handed, there is risk regardless. So instead of presenting the hand, but if you have an equalizer, to a certain extent with a Tanto, at least you can produce something that can protect that side. As long as you are not, again, hyper-exposing your elbow away from the line of the Tanto, okay? If you hyper-expose your elbow away from the line of the Tanto, you kind of have defeated the purpose of the Tanto. So your arm, your shoulder more or less stays on the line of the Tanto, prevents potentially an impact, and then continues with the rest. Last one was the ski with a very similar feeling. My partner skis. I enter, I parry with the Tanto, going down. I change the position, and then I enter with an igimi. Okay? So, yeah, I enter, parry, vertically the Tanto, enter, and then enter with an igimi, with a Tanto horizontal. Okay? Parry, vertical, Tanto, sideways, igimi. Okay? Parry, vertical Tanto, sideways. Parry, vertical Tanto, sideways. Parry, vertical, sideways. Parry, vertical, sideways. Very important to kind of start vertical because I was practicing with someone in the dojo who was going very quickly into the horizontal. And of course, if you go horizontal, you lose the capacity to parry the ski that is coming towards you. So it has to remain vertical. And then only then comes into horizontal. Okay? Has to remain vertical, protecting your own forearm, and then horizontal. Remains vertical and horizontal. Remains vertical and horizontal. More vertical, horizontal. Ski, vertical, horizontal. Hi. Finish up with Funa Kogi. Left foot in front, hands in front. Hey. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Hey. Hey. Right foot in front, hands in front. Hey. Hey. Sa. 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 Hey. Hey. Great. Hey. Arigato gozaimashita. Thank you very much.